No, you cut all of this out, AJ, you piece of shit. You fucking edit the fuck out of this. You make it good. I want every side conversation taken out of this fucking video for YouTube. Just kidding. You can put that in there at the start.
What's up, Mudpuppies? Welcome back to another episode of the Cryptid Files.
Yeah.
The podcast that talks about all manner of cryptids, mythology, folklore, monsters,
Mormons,
aliens,
Scientologists,
ghosts,
files,
spaghetti,
things,
and everything else that we decide
platypus dicks.
Mothman's dick. Anything else we think is experimental.
Yeah, experimental.
Anything else we feel like experimenting on.
Weird experiments. No.
We're your hosts as always, Anthony and Charlie.
Yeah.
And tonight, we are here to talk to you guys about giants.
Not the shitty football team.
Yeah, fuck the giants. No birds. But yeah, we're here to talk about giants and all the other kinds of giants that are throughout
Are we gonna do
culture.
a Pastafarian episode?
We have to do a Pastafarian
We have
episode.
to do a Pastafarian.
We brought up
episode.
Pastafarians in the past.
Yeah.
The Church of Pastafarianism was built in, was it Denmark or something I read about?
I don't know. I think it's a big deal there now, though.
Yeah, it's
They
one of the
love
most
that
widely accepted religions
Yeah.
in that country. So yeah, we talk about whatever the hell we want. And
Yeah,
tonight
we
we're
talk
talking
about whatever the fuck we want to.
Tonight we're talking about giants and where they come from.
Yeah.
We're going to intro giants because there's a lot of giants that we're going to be covering on the show. So
Yeah, so basically they live in New York, or they live in New Jersey, but they wear a New York logo on them, which is fucking weird.
wrong giants, Charlie.
Oh, okay,
wrong
never
giants. Stay with me.
They suck at football.
So we all know giants,
Yeah.
but what we all know is what we think we know about giants because holy crap, there's a lot of giants.
Yeah, there's a fucking million different types of giants.
And you thought you found the first giants, but I found the first giants.
Did you?
I did.
What are the first giants?
They come from Mesopotamia.
Okay, sick. Yes.
Because
Tell
I
me
know you
about
said your giants come from the Bible.
Yes, I have. No, I didn't think they're the first giants. I did not say they were the first giants. I said I found some early sources from the giants. Biblically, they have giants. In Hindu religion, we're going to talk about their giants. We're going to talk about
There's a whole lot of giants.
Viking giants and all kinds of
So
other
let's start.
Mesopotamia.
I know
Yes.
you probably did a lot more digging than I did, so I'll hit you with something and you tell me what you know about it. And if
Alright,
you don't
cool.
know about it, we'll move on to the next one and we'll keep rolling through this because this is just a brief overview episode. We're going to be doing deep dives into each one of these giants and giant archetypes and names of giants on their own specific episodes. Just like how we did a deep dive, we did an overview of werewolves, we've done an overview of elves. We're going to do the same thing with giants because there's too much stuff.
Too many different types of giants.
So, starting in Mesopotamia. We've already kind of talked about these because of the lizard men,
People,
reptilian episodes. We have the Anunnaki,
Yes.
which are celestial beings that happen to be giant.
Okay. So, this is where all that reptilian shit comes from.
The original reptilian shit, not the anti-Semitic reptilian shit.
Yeah, but anybody that's into like the whole reptilian conspiracy theory shit, just be wary that it's all kind of bullshit. But anyways, so the Anunnaki was part of the original Mesopotamian religion, and they developed the first idea of a heaven, a world where people existed, and a hell. Right? So 3-realm world. The Anunnaki live in the bottom realm, and there's just supposed to be like these giant reptilian creatures that have like descended from the heavens.
Yes. So past the Anunnaki, we have the Igigi or Igigi. I don't really speak Mesopotamians. I'm assuming it's like Igigi because they're Middle Eastern. And these are younger gods that were created by the Anunnaki.
Yeah. That
were their like servant gods, and then they rebelled. And they were like, we're not doing this shit anymore.
Yeah,
which led the Anunnaki to creating humans. Because they were like, well, if you're not going to do it, we're going to make somebody else. And they made people. So if it weren't for the Igigi being like, fuck you, Dad, we wouldn't exist.
Yeah. According to Mesopotamia.
And then you have the Udug.
Yeah.
Which are giants that embody darkness, poison, and disease. They were like the evil giant spirit things.
Yeah. Now, real quick.
Yeah.
Right? We're putting the name giant on all of these.
Yes.
That was not the actual phrase they were using to refer to them as.
No, not at all. Giant wasn't a word back then.
Yes.
This is what is considered, like today's standards, these are giants.
Yeah.
Now we get into the Bible.
Okay. So, the Bible roughly touches on these things called Nephilim. So, basically in Genesis, there's this, it's Genesis 6, right? So I'm going to read off a little bit of it. Yeah, it's a good album, dude. Like, solid album. So basically, they said now after the population of humans had increased throughout the earth, daughters had been born to them. Some divine beings noticed how attractive women were, so they took wives of them themselves from a selection that pleased them. And then the Lord said, "My spirit won't remain with human beings forever, because truly their mortal lifespan will be 120 years." That was the first that they actually referred to what they thought the giants were. So the giants were the offspring from these divine beings,
Angels and women.
Yes. Right? So they're like fallen angels. So they're kind of like demons.
Not necessarily, because Nephilim weren't inherently evil.
Well, no,
like
Nephilim weren't the demons. The fallen angels, the parents of the Nephilim.
Oh, fallen angels is so subjective. But yeah, okay.
Yeah. All right. So Nephilim were on the earth at the time, and also immediately afterwards. Cool. When those divine beings were having sexual relations with those human women who gave birth to children for them, these children became the heroes and legendary figures of ancient time. So there's a huge controversy with this.
They think that like demigods are actually Nephilim?
No. So this is all happening in Genesis before Noah's flood.
Oh, okay. So this was before Phil Collins joined.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now they're talked about in Matthew too, which is when Jesus is born.
Okay.
Way fucking after the flood. So the only person that was supposed to survive the flood was Noah and his family. And they did the flood so they could wipe out everything on Earth. So how did the Nephilim DNA stay?
Is Noah a Nephilim?
What?
Noah's a Nephilim.
That's one of the theories.
Plot twist!
Plot twist. One of Noah's family members could have been had Nephilim DNA in him. That's one of the theories.
Okay.
The other theory is that there's still repeated angelic rebellions where
they just show up anyway.
They just show up anyways and fuck people, and then there's Nephilim.
How do we know Jesus is a Nephilim and God just covered it up?
Who knows? And then the survival of the local flood, of the local flood, right? So they think that the flood wasn't global, and some Nephilim populations in the regions could have survived. So that is the big conspiracy with Christianity and Nephilim, because it doesn't add up well.
Right.
So they had to come up with theories.
Cool.
To make it work. Those are the three theories.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and beyond the Nephilim, we have the Rephaim and Anakim, which are also two species of giants that apparently lived in Canaan before the Israelites came in.
Yes, and those are what's referred to in Numbers, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're not weird angel hybrid people. They just happen to be giant.
Well, apparently they are.
Oh, okay, they are.
Yeah, apparently they are.
So the angels are just down here fucking everybody, huh?
Yeah, so that's the problem. That's the problem. So they're mentioned in Numbers, and they're mentioned in Matthew. I believe the name, depending on the translation of the Bible, too.
Yeah.
Nephilim isn't said in Genesis in the King James Version, but I looked in the Something International Version, and they use the word Nephilim. They use the word giants in the King James Version.
Oh.
It's a lot of confusion depending on which translation you're looking at or where you're looking at from a historical perspective. So that is the Christian version of giants.
Now, moving past Christianity, we get into the Greco-Roman. So first we have the gigantes.
Yeah.
Which is kind of where the word giant starts to come from.
Yeah.
And these are children of I guess it's Gaia, spelled, but with the Greek pronunciation. You know, it's hero and not hero and whatever. But these happen to be stronger and bigger humans, but they're not necessarily giant by our standards. They're not giants. They're gianter. You know, if a standard human's about 5'6", these guys are like 6'8".
Yeah.
So they seem kind of giant, but they're not these massive lumbering monster people.
Yeah. So this is Roman?
This is like the Greco-Roman. So
Greek. Okay. Yeah, so Gaia was the earth.
And Uranus was the sky, was time. Or
sky.
Uranus was
Kronos
sky. Was time.
Gaia was earth.
Yeah.
Kronos was time. Yes.
Yes. And then you have the Titans, which were the sons and daughters of Gaia and Uranus.
Yeah.
These were giant pre-gods. These were the gods before the gods.
Yeah.
That then the Olympian gods killed and overthrew and imprisoned and all this kind of cool stuff.
Yeah. So, Uranus, yeah. So, Titans are the second generation of divine beings. The first generation was the actual the giants then? Or Uranus?
Say one more time?
What was the first generation?
Titans were the first generation.
Titans were the first generation.
These were the sons and daughters of Gaia and Uranus.
Okay.
Gigantes were... Her gigantes? It sounds so like Spanish, but it's a Greek word.
Yeah.
Are the children of Gaia divine babies. Like, she just was like, I made this. Like, she didn't have a husband for them.
Yeah.
They're like Gaia and the actual Earth made a kid. And they were these bigger human things. Cool. And then you have the Cyclopses, which are giants.
Yes.
With a single eye in their forehead.
Yes.
And they're like herders and they eat people and all this kind of cool stuff.
So there's a couple specific Titans I was going to bring up. So Cronus, right, which is the king of the Titans. He's the one that overthrew his father, Uranus. He overthrew Uranus.
His anus?
Yeah.
Did you know that they're planning on renaming Uranus so that we can't make this joke anymore?
Are they?
Yeah, they want to call it Urectum.
Ah, that's hysterical. So basically, he feared prophecy that his children would overthrow him, and he solved this problem by eating them, and he still lost.
Yeah, Uranus ate people. Normally you eat Uranus.
Yeah, and that's why he kind of represents the power to freeze time, and always fails. Atlas, another Titan.
Holds the world on his shoulders.
Yeah, so he's the leader in the war against the Olympians. He was punished by being forced to hold up the sky. Not the sky. So he wasn't actually holding up the planet.
Yeah, the whole thing of him with the planet on his back is wrong.
Yeah, it's wrong.
He's holding
Incorrect.
the sky. He's holding the sky off of the Earth.
Yeah. So, strength without freedom. And then we have Rhea, which is the Titaness of fertility and motherhood. She was saved, she saved Zeus and enabled the fall of her own generation.
Mom?
Yes.
I think
she is.
Okay,
I think so. I don't know. I'm not a fucking expert on anything.
Not 100%. If anybody knows, let us know.
Yeah. She represents transition, not rebellion. So she was a traitor.
She's a traitor to the Titans.
So she was that transitional piece.
Right.
The key. And it switched the power to the Olympians versus the Titan. And then you have Prometheus. He's the Titan who sided with humanity. He stole the fire from the gods. Right. He was punished internally for empowering mortals.
Yes.
He's been known as the bridge between the divine giants and human. Not to dive into a whole bunch of fucking
there's some cool stuff
shit here, but yeah.
And then let's move a little more north, and now we're in the Norse Germanic world.
Okay, yes.
So we have the Jotnar, the Jotun, the giants.
Yes.
These are powerful ancient race, older than the gods. They live in Jotunheim.
Yeah.
Some were massive, what we think of giants.
Yeah.
But then there's also, they called just monsters giants.
Yeah, giant wasn't a term. Alright, we translated that to giant. Right. It wasn't a term to describe their fucking size.
Right, because giants could be in any size. Sometimes they're just grotesque, monstrous things.
Yeah. So it wasn't like they're all these big fucking human creatures chilling. It was just a term. It was a term of what they are.
Right.
So they're not actually giants, but they're giants.
And there happen to be frost giants and fire giants.
Yeah,
Niflheim and Muspelheim, I think.
I have all the basic translation of all of them because no one's going to know the terms. But we have ice, fire, stone, wilderness, time, and entropy. Right?
What is an entropy giant?
Yeah.
What does entropy mean?
Don't ask me. They're primordial beings, so they were older than the gods themselves.
Yes.
Jotun. Yeah. Is translated as giant, but it's misleading. They're not tall.
Some of them are.
Oh, yeah.
There are some that are massive.
Yeah.
But they have... So those are giant Jotun.
Yeah.
Jotuns aren't giants, but giants are Jotun.
Jotuns can be giant.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Cool. All Jotun trace back to Ymir.
Yes.
Right? Which is the original being.
Yes. They built the world out of him.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know, most people when you talk about Norse mythology, they Odin, he's their creator. No. Odin didn't create
Odin
shit.
just happened to turn I think Odin turned Ymir's body into Midgard.
Yeah, he took over. From Ymir's body, the gods created the world. His flesh became land. His blood became seas. His bones became mountains, and his skull became the sky. They really just ripped him. Apart.
They used his hair for things, and his eyebrows were shit. And
their theory is basically, their idea there is that the universe is actually made from a giant, and everybody knows about frost giants, right? Because of Marvel, I think.
Yeah.
And we talked about there's a fuck ton of other ones. They pretty much make up an ecosystem together, though, which is the idea behind them.
Right.
Which is why Ymir is what made the world.
Yes.
Right? His existence, they used his body for everything.
Yep.
Because all of them together make an ecosystem. Ice, fire, mountain, sea, forest, all that shit.
Right. And then to get even deeper in that, you have the Thursar, which are specifically ugly and malicious Jotun. And there are the Risar, I believe that's how you pronounce it, or beautiful nature giants.
Yeah.
Or nature Jotun.
Nature Jotun.
Because they're not always giant.
Yeah.
But sometimes they are. Well, I don't think they're technically Jotun. Because Rhaesar, I believe, are different, totally different race. Because they are more civilized and beautiful and human-like in their cultural dealings and stuff. They're not necessarily good. They still do antagonize the gods and all that kind of stuff in Nordic religions. But they're giant, beautiful people. Yeah.
The gods and the giants are technically family.
Yes, they're related.
They're
kind of.
Odin's mother was a giant.
Right.
Thor's enemies are often his relatives, which are also giants. Loki himself was a Jotun.
Half Jotun.
Half Jotun. So it is like a giant cosmic family dispute constantly.
Pretty much. That's why they're just mad all the time. It's like two sides of the same family.
Yeah. And in the end, for Ragnarok, basically the Jotun are supposed to return in force and have this huge war with the gods.
And it ends the world. Because everybody dies.
Yeah. Well, the world is technically reborn.
Yes.
Is the theory. So it's not like the Jotun or the gods don't lose, but it's kind of a hard reset, is what the idea is.
Through massive massacre.
Through massive massacre, we will find justice!
And start over.
Yeah.
So then we get into the Celts. Let's move over to the Celts.
Okay, cool.
The Celts, we have the Fomorians.
Yes!
Which are giant personifications of nature and chaos.
Yes. So, Irish mythology, especially the Labor Regala Aryan, is the Book of Invasion. I said that completely fucking wrong.
Yeah, probably.
They're an ancient race of beings who arrived in Ireland before civilization settled in, which is a fucking pattern I think we're seeing.
Yeah, it's a lot of like giants were here first, and then the humans show up and shit. Which is wild to me. There's like these tiny little things are chasing the big guy out.
Yeah.
You think it'd be the other way around? But...
Yeah, who knows? But anyways, so they're described as giants, monsters, sea raiders, chaotic overlords, sometimes fully humanoid, sometimes fully warped into
monsters,
wild monster things. Yep. They don't just live in Ireland, they kind of intrude upon it. And what do they look like? That's the big question. Anything you can fucking imagine, right? There could be towering giants, misshapen bodies, one eyes, one arms, asymmetrical forms.
One-eyed, one horn,
goat legs, claws, fucking animal features. Sometimes they're beautiful, sometimes they're fucking gross.
Yeah.
But they're often described as incomplete or corrupted, as if nature itself didn't like finalize its design yet.
Which is figuring it out.
Common fucking theme with giants, right? They're tend to be in all of these religions the first things that were here, and they're ugly and look incomplete. Yeah. It's kind of like a test run, is what everybody's saying. The most famous Fomorian is Balor, which is their king.
Yep.
He possessed a single eye that caused destruction, death, or rot when he opened it.
Yes.
So he could just kind of look at you and you're fucked. I wonder if that's where the idea of like Cyclops came from like X-Men and shit.
Maybe.
You know, the idea of just opening and yeah. But the eye is so powerful, it took multiple men to lift the lid. It's said to wither crops, kill armies, and poison the land. Balor is eventually killed by his grandson Lu, which is the member of the Tuatha De Danann.
The Tuatha.
Tuatha De Danann is the opposite of the Fomorians. The Fomorians are darkness, blight, brute force, excess. Yeah. And then Tuatha De Danann are light, fertility, skill, and crafty balance.
Yeah, Tuatha are similar to elves. They're a form of elf.
It's like
legend.
This is looking a lot like light elf, dark elf
kind
of thing here.
Yep.
But
in the same area, you also have the Kiwari, which are a Welsh giant race, and they're kind of what you expect. They're just giant people,
just giant
monster people,
big old people.
Then we move into the Anglo-Saxon world.
Okay.
And we have the Ettins.
The Ettins.
And these are giant, two-headed, ogre-like monster people.
And they have clubs.
They do.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about that is that they're completely split in their they have the two heads, and each head has its own personality and thoughts and feelings. Yeah. And they'll constantly actually bicker with themselves. It's almost like Siamese twin style. Yeah. Where one side of the Ettin is controlled by one head, and the other head controls the other side. So they're easy to manipulate by making them argue with each other to get the fuck away.
And it's a boss in almost every RPG game online.
Oh, for sure. Anything vehicle based has ends.
Yeah.
So then we get to the Sami. Which are the... So you have like the Norse people of like Norway, Finland, and like all that kind of side. Then you get to like the Russian side where they meet, and you have the Sami, which are kind of like the Russian, northern Finnish, northern Swedish, like that edge of Russian Viking people. And they have these things called stalu, which are these large, clumsy, stupid, giant people.
Yeah.
Then we get to the Indian Hindu religion.
Okay, cool. So, I was going to talk about Daityas.
Yes, Daityas.
Okay. So, they're descendants of Didi,
Yes.
which is one of the primordial mothers. So, wife of Kashyapa. I'm going to fuck up all the fucking names here, so I'm just going to not really read much of them. So, their powerful rate of Asuras. Demon is often used in the translation, but it's misleading. Daityas are closer to anti-gods or a rival cosmic elites.
Yeah, they're constantly warring with the gods.
Yeah, so they're not demons, right? It's just kind of like a separate race that is... It's a power struggle.
Right.
It's a power struggle. They're frequently giant or towering in size, immensely strong, highly intelligent, and masters of magic, illusion, and strategy. They don't want to destroy the universe. Character. They want to fight to run it. They want control. That's what the whole battle is. They want to be on top. Yeah. So unlike other giants, these guys are organized. They have kingdoms, hierarchies, laws, courts. They're patrons of art, ritual, and learning. They gain power through extreme meditation and sacrifice. They exploit loopholes in cosmic law. They often defeat the gods by outsmarting the system. So they're like cosmic lawyers.
Just as slimy.
Yeah. So Hiranayaka Shipu. That's not... Google it.
Don't say it again because I might start levitating.
Yeah. What? Hiranayaka Shipu. That's how it's fucking spelled, dude. I don't know. I don't speak.
Hiranayaka Shipu. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not too bad. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
That's the closest I came with the first shot.
Yeah. So he's one of the most famous ones. Could not be killed by man or beast, inside or outside, day or night. Ruled as a cosmic tyrant unto Vishnu. Incarnated as the Narasimha. Stop. We're done. Fucking names. A being designed to bypass every clock. So he kind of invites the absolute power paradox thing.
Right. Absolute power.
And then there's Bali. That's easy. They should just all be named Bali. A righteous and generous Daitya king. His rule brought prosperity even to his enemies. He lost his kingdom, not through like cruelty, but through cosmic correction. So it was kind of like, he got lured out. Vishnu incarnated as Vamana, which is a dwarf who expanded to reclaim the universe in 3 steps.
Yes.
And his whole meaning behind him is basically virtue can threaten balance. Even virtue can threaten balance. So it's kind of all of these giants in this like Hindu basis here seem to be representations of like law and order,
right?
In a sense,
in some way, shape, or form.
And yeah, they're very skilled in.
My favorite was SVU.
What? SV, stop. Fuck you. So the Dyatas, they challenge cosmic hierarchy, rule by merit and power, seek to transcend law. The Devas are there to preserve cosmic balance, rule by duty, and are limited by the law. And basically the universe survives in this religion because neither side is allowed to win forever.
And you also have, related to the Daityas, you have the Danavas.
Yeah.
Which just happen to be more demonic giants that are related. I think they're the son of a different god. Or children of a different god.
Yeah.
Alright, so now can we move into Persia?
Yeah,
we have the Divs.
Which
just happen to be monstrous Persian giant myths.
Oh, cool. Is that what they are?
Yeah, just monstrous Persian giants.
Oh.
Giants from Persia that are monsters.
Yeah.
Then we get to China. The Chinese have the Jurren, which literally just translates to giant people. And there's a lot of myths about specific Jurren.
Yeah.
So they don't really have, whereas like Norse mythology and Celtic mythology and those have like giant races.
Yeah.
Chinese myths just have stories of giant people doing things.
Yeah.
And then taking a little swim, we get to Japan.
Okay.
And in Japan we have the Oni, which are giant demon monster things.
Yeah.
But they're a little more humanoid shaped.
Yeah.
So you get those weird fanged, horned monster heads on these big clawed human body things.
Yeah.
We
talked about them once before, actually.
Yeah, if we brought up Oni before. We'll cover them more deeper. And then you have, this is my turn to butcher the hell out of a name.
Nice.
Daidara Bochi.
What region is that from? Daidara?
This is Japan.
Japan, okay.
Daidara Bochi. D-A-I-D-A-R-A-B-O-T-C-H-I. Daidara Bochi.
Alright. You sound like you're Russian when you say that.
Daidara Bochi.
Oh, that's racist now.
Ah, I can't win. Daidara Bochi. These are giants that created the landscape. So these are giant, black-skinned, bald-headed, like tongues hanging out of their mouth and their eyes are always like, but they like wander around the world and they just like push mountains into place. Yeah. And where they step creates ponds and lakes and things, and they'll carve out canyons where they lay down and they make hills by like pushing with their backs and things.
They're like the design team.
Kind of by accident though. They're not doing anything on purpose most of the time. It's more just like, this isn't my way. Yeah. Oh, they created Mount Fuji. That's pretty cool. Yeah. And then we're gonna move to the Americas.
Okay.
And then the Native Americans. So we have the Iroquois had stories of the stone giants.
Yes.
Which are giant human-like creatures with stone skin. Mm-hmm. Then we move to the Wabanaki Indians.
Wabanaki.
They have the stories of the Chinu. Yeah. Which are similar to Wendigo. It's a giant ice giant. Yeah. Giant ice giant that has a similar. You become a Chinu same way you become a Wendigo. You give into cannibalism and darker going against the tribe kind of stuff. And then you have the Paiute Indians have the Siteka, which are red-headed cannibal giants. I don't know why they're specifically red hair, but they do. So gingers apparently are cannibals to the Paiute.
Okay, so that kind of lines up actually with the biblical one.
The Nephilim always have red hair?
They're supposed to have red hair and 6 fingers.
6 fingers?
Yeah. So maybe when Jesus brought them to the Americas,
they started eating people.
You know, when he formed the Mormon Church.
And then the Salish natives have the Siatko, which are giant Sasquatches.
Okay.
So it's like Bigfoot, but bigger.
Yeah.
It's bigger foot. Then we move to
Okay.
Then we move to Mesoamerica, where we have the Aztecs. I'm going to butcher this one now.
It's called the Incas.
No, these are Aztecs. The Aztecs believed in these things called the... Oh, shit. Quinametzin.
Quinametzin.
Yeah, oh wow, you did that really well. Quinametzin. These were Aztec giants whose bones were used to create humans. And then we go to Australia for the last round of giants.
Yes.
And in Australia we have the Yowie, which is another giant Sasquatch. So Biggerfoot V2.
I thought it was like Japanese like anime porn. Is that like the gay porn?
I don't know. But it is, yes. Don't make sure you spell it right if you're gonna look for Yowie. Oh my god. And you have the Tamara, which are tall, skinny giants that live inside of like rock crevices and mountains. And those are all the different forms of giants throughout the world that I can find.
Nice.
And we've touched on some of these already, but these are some cool names. Like from Mesopotamia, we have Humbaba.
Humbaba.
He's a giant that guards the giant cedar forest. We have Goliath, obviously from the Bible. Everyone knows the story of David and Goliath.
Yeah. Apparently, well, that's the theory is that he has giant DNA in him.
Goliath is a Nephilim.
Not a Nephilim, but a descendant of a Nephilim, supposedly. Yeah.
Then we have... Reading this quick, I always want to say enchiladas.
Okay. We have enchiladas.
But it's Enceladus? Enceladus. It's Greek, so it's not enchiladas.
Dude.
This was a giant that is buried beneath Mount Etna.
Oh, nice. Good place to be.
And he causes Mount Etna to erupt by moving around.
Oh, cool.
And then we also have Polyphemus. And he is the Cyclops that captures Odysseus and his crew.
Yes.
That they drive the hot stake into his eyeball.
Yeah.
And they hide under the sheet.
And then you have the guy from the Beanstalk.
Yeah, I guess.
He was there with Jack.
Fe-fi-fo-fum.
Yeah.
And then we have, you talked about Ymir.
Yes.
He's the Nordic god that they created the world out of. Mm-hmm. And then you also have Hrungnir. And he's a stone giant that fights Thor.
Yes.
I believe he's a stone giant that steals Thor's hammer and Thor has to pretend to be
Thor
has to pretend to be a woman to get it back.
Yes.
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
Norse mythology is
wild.
Fucking wild. It absolutely has some cool fucking hysterical shit going on.
I would say the only mythology that rivals Nordic mythology in just the level of like outlandish shit is Egyptian mythology.
Yes.
They both have the most alright, Nordic mythology, two off the top of my head, super outlandish. Loki turning into a female horse to have sex with a giant's horse so that the giant can't finish making a wall in time. Yeah. And then getting impregnated and giving birth to Odin's horse.
I can just picture someone's drunk uncle who's like, well, how did Loki stop them from making the... He fucking turned into a horse and got fucked.
Yeah, pretty much. and Thor getting his hammer stolen, pretending to be a princess, to get married to the giant, eating him out of house and home, and beating the shit out of him in his wedding dress. And then to go against that, Egyptian mythology, alligators were created because Set tried to have sex with Horus to dominate him. Horus caught his sperm before it could get inside of him and threw it in the Nile River.
And it turned into alligators.
Who's just sitting down writing this shit down? Yikes. And then, okay, back to giants. You talked about Balor the Giant, Celtic from Orient. You have Gog Magog from England, who was just another giant tail.
Yep.
And then the Chinese giant Pangu is supposed to be the giant that actually created Earth by ripping heaven from it. So he pulled heaven and Earth apart and created the separation of the worlds. And then some famous non-mythical giants. You have Giant from the Beanstalk. You have the Jolly Green Giant.
Yeah.
Kool-Aid Man's a giant.
The guy from Ghostbusters.
The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's pretty much the world of giants.
That is the world of giants.
So let's talk about some theories.
Yes. All right. So I'm going to talk about some cross-pollination between these giants. So basically, they're all been seen as former inhabitants of Earth. This is one of the big things. Titans ruled before the Olympians. Jotnar existed before the God-shaped order. Daityas ruled before cosmic balance.
Fomorians came around before the humans.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Nephilim. Existed before the flood and reset humanity. They've all looked at them as these giant things that have been here for a long period of time that kind of look like the creators fuck up. A little bit. Not all of them. I know Jotun, they're not all classic giants. That's just kind of the name we gave them, which I kind of think is a poor representation of them, honestly.
Because again, when you think of giant, you think of these big monstrous things, and then not all of them are these big monstrous things. Some of them they're all monstrous.
Yeah.
But some of them are big and not monstrous. They're just big.
Yeah.
Some of them are medium-sized.
Yeah.
Some of them are small.
Yes.
There are dwarf giants.
Yes. Yeah. So, we're crossing mythology into speculation here, right?
Is it all mythology speculation?
And some of it's more faith belief, and then now we're bringing it into a realm of let's take some bullshit and say it's true. That is the level of speculation now, because we don't have any hard evidence of this.
We only have soft evidence. Our evidence needs Viagra.
So this is one of the big ideas here: misidentified ancient humans. This is like a mainstream academic theory here. Early humans encountered very tall individuals, robust hominins, or rare genetic gigantism, and oral traditions exaggerated over generations. So, like Scotland, William Wallace.
Yeah, who's tall?
Who's tall. But they said he was like 12 foot tall when they were talking about him in Legends.
Right, he was probably just like 6'2".
He could breathe fire
right.
and fucking do all kinds of crazy shit. He was a real dude, and he was a big motherfucker. He wasn't breathing fire, and he wasn't 12 foot tall.
Right.
So when we hear stories of people that are huge and giant, they're over-exaggerated. Especially at a time when they didn't have, like, not everybody had, like, steady measurement systems.
And also, you have to think, too, that the average human height was drastically different in ancient times. Like, so... Yeah. But also within cultures. So look at the average Roman was about 5'6".
Yeah.
Right? The average Roman male was 5'6". That was tall for a Roman. The average Nordic male was like 6 feet.
Oh yeah, they were huge.
So when you get to when the Romans first encountered Vikings, they're half a foot taller than them on the reg.
Yeah.
Not to mention tall Vikings, which are probably 6'2" to 6'4".
Yeah.
So that could be a giant legend right there created because they're just looking up at this guy like holy crap. And then look at Mayans and Aztecs. Yeah. Their average height was like 5'3", 5'4". They were short. So then the Spaniards come over and they're averaging 5'10". They're like, these guys are huge.
Well, that's why they thought they were gods originally.
Right.
Well, not all of them.
Because they were 6 inches taller than them.
Yeah.
And then same thing you get to like Japan and China. Yeah. You have the average height there was still of the 5'5" range. And then the Sami and the Rus are all 5'10" to 6 feet tall. Yeah. So it's just some of these giant legends might just come from cultures clashing and going, where the hell are these guys from?
And also, not to bash it, it's a super easy thing to think of. If you're gonna come up with a type of, supernatural being as like a folklore story legend, take something you see and make it bigger. They've done that throughout history with wolves, bear. They use it in religion for wolves.
They continue to use it today in video games. Like, hey, let's take this regular enemy, let's make it a boss.
How
do we do that? Make it bigger.
Make it fucking bigger. Also, there's an idea, which is a popular alternative hypothesis. That's a scientific term, right? Hypothesis. Extinct hominin species. So, Neanderthals, Denisovans, or unknown hominins remembered as giants.
What was that other one? Neanderthals and
Denisovans.
Who's Denisovan?
It's like another human type, like Neanderthal, but it's like a different one.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyways, so stronger, broader, sometimes taller than early Homo sapiens.
Why'd you have to make that much of a pause in the words, man? That's rude.
Homo sapiens? I don't understand. It seems pretty clear. Yeah, so they're stronger, broader, sometimes taller than early Homo sapiens. Interbreeding myths, echo genetic mixing. So
Homo erectus.
Yeah. So this theory fits especially well with Nephilim narratives, kind of. There's also, basically they looked at the idea of like things that were unexplained and were like, okay, this has got to be done by giants. So ancient structures like massive stone temples, Cyclopean walls. Myth claims that giants built them, later humans inherit but cannot replicate the technology.
So you think there were giants in Egypt?
Yeah, that's the theory there. So, and for like things like Stonehenge, where they just don't know how that shit got there.
Yep.
Or those statues of the heads. That
I almost said
Eastern
Turkey.
Islands.
I don't know why I almost said Turkey Island.
Turkey Island. The Turkey Island.
Turkey. You don't even eat turkey for Easter. I had turkey last night. I had turkey bacon yesterday for the first time in a while. That's some slept-on shit. Turkey bacon's good.
Yeah. And these giants, they seem to all symbolize together. They all seem to symbolize together natural forces that have either been part of disaster or kind of caused disaster, right? So Jotnar, they are all aligned with specific elements.
Right, you have the fire giants, the ice giants, the stone giants, the nature giants, and the other giants.
And the Nephilim are, from Genesis, all supposed to get wiped out from the flood because they're like atrocities. They're incorrect. They're wrong. With the Hindu religion, they're different. They're not the gods, but they're a separate race.
Right.
Of, something entirely separate.
Right.
Not quite right.
Right.
So it's just this reoccurring theme. So it's kind of like giving faces to disaster. In a sense.
That's a good band name.
Yeah, Faces to Disaster. Dude, we should make a band called Faces to Disaster and just make songs about giants. I want to talk about some wild theories. Ancient astronaut
These
theory.
weren't wild theories?
No, it gets weirder.
Oh. Do giants mind speak?
I fucking hope so. We gotta ask somebody that's into mind speaking, dude, and be like, hey, can you talk to these motherfuckers for me? I need you to fucking mind speak.
If anybody watching right now can mind speak, please talk to a giant.
If anybody here thinks they can mind speak, please talk to a giant for us.
Let us know
what
what they
fucking
say.
can't. I'm sorry. But we'll try. So giants have historically been described as descending from the sky, teaching humanity, mating with humans, seen as non-human intelligence or visitors. Some people think that means they could be aliens.
There are bigger planets, so that means bigger people.
Bigger people. Well, actually, I think it would be like less gravity and you would have bigger people. Because the more gravity,
So they'd be on a smaller planet.
They'd be on smaller planets.
That seems counterintuitive.
It does, but it's kind of the way it works, I think. I don't know. I'm not a fucking physicist, a scientist, or whatever. There's also the psychological idea, too. Giants represent a fear of nature, fear of predecessors, and fear of being replaced.
Fear of predecessors or predators?
Predecessors.
Why would you fear your predecessors?
Because it's the idea of being replaced.
But predecessors came before you.
I know. Fuck you, AJ.
No, this is a serious question. This doesn't make sense.
Shit.
Yeah.
They created shit,
Why
right?
would you fear them? They're gone.
And then we took over.
Yeah.
Now you're afraid that they're going to take back.
Oh, you're afraid of them coming back. Okay.
Okay.
I was just like, they're gone already. Why are you scared?
Yeah. So, we tend to mythologize things we can't control. So those ideas of us constantly being afraid of somebody taking over power from us translates into our religions a lot of the time. So if you're
got deep.
yeah, no, but if you're like, at your job and you think you're worried about being replaced by somebody else, that same idea is translated through religious texts like this. All of the giants are constantly in a battle to take control.
So I could start a religion at Topgolf if they hire a new bartender and I get scared.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, we should start a religion. We could do a fucking great religion.
We could call it Squonkifarianism. Squonk is God. God is Squonk.
God is Squonk. Dude, if we made a Squonk religion...
Squonk is love,
who the
Squonk
fuck
is
would
life.
sign up for the Squonk religion? Hold up. Did you ever get ordained by the Church of Gnome?
Not yet, but I'm going to.
Okay, dude, you need to.
I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that by the end of the month.
Yeah. Cool.
So then if you want to redo your vows, I can
We can do it. Hell yeah. Do some Squonky vows.
Yeah. Some Nomi vows. Make sure if you're not already, follow us everywhere.
Yes.
Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts. Check out our Fourth Wall store. We have
Buy our shit.
hats, we have jackets, we have socks, we have t-shirts, we have bathing suits, we have a squonk thong, we have yoga mats, we have duffel bags. Just check out our store. We got cool stuff.
Squonk thongs.
Yes, we do.
Super impressive.
Make sure you join us in our Discord if you're not. It's the only place to take requests.
Yeah.
And you can request anything on the schedule. You can also request what kind of merch you want, because there's so much that we can make with this site that I'm kind of overwhelmed. Charlie's kind of overwhelmed. So if you tell us what you want, we will make sure it happens. Let us know. Follow me on Goodreads if you like books. I have a DNR list. Yeah. Follow me on Letterboxd if you like movies. I've got a DNR list. Just make sure you're following us everywhere so you can get all the good news.
Yeah.
And we will see you guys in the next one.
We will. Thanks for coming. Yep.
Peace.